seasons are times in your life, in my life, where a certain principle is being driven home. Sometimes it's through what we went through in life, but sometimes season can be misunderstood because we think like a season can be 2 or 3 months, like the normal regular season. Seasons in life that we experience from the natural side give us an opportunity to see the whole picture of life, that we don't have to go through the same thing over and over again. And yet there are also times when we have to be patient and learn the lessons well while we're in that season of life. Now, in the natural, we can draw some lessons very specifically to help us relate to these different seasons of life that we go through, which is much longer than 3 months at a time. It doesn't always mean that you're in that season in particular, but it could describe more clearly the truest definition of what you're going through underneath. So let's just review the 4 seasons of life, the 4 seasons naturally that we all have to participate in. One is winter, which we are already in right now. We're coming out of it in the middle of this month of March. And then we go into and let me backtrack. In the season of winter, it's a place where the statement is very true. It's where we experience the dark night of the soul, where we experience certain things that will require patience, will require feedback, will require contemplation, will require a lot of the different elements that happen during winter. And in winter, we don't go out and do any outside work. Like if you're a farmer, you don't plant anything during winter. You wait until winter comes out, which also means that it gives us more time to reflect. Sometimes we reflect on what the future harvest will be when we are at the harvest time. But it means that we also take an evaluation of whether we have enough seeds for the land. We also evaluate what kind of fertilizer we're going to use when spring come around, because spring is not a time to evaluate. Spring is a time of action. We take action by doing what we need to do. We break the ground, we put fertilizer in the ground, and we plant seeds. So that's the season we're coming out in the natural too, which is a season of spring. It's time of planting. It's a time of putting seeds in the ground. Spring is followed by summer, and summer is a time to protect what you planted. It's a time where you are conscious of what you planted and what needs to be done to protect the seed and the future growth and the future harvest from being damaged by bugs or even disease or all of that. We do that. And also, it's springtime is when we plant. It's a time when the things we do give out and we give away. And plant it with the understanding that whatever you're planting is going to increase. One seed planted in the ground of apple tree, you can expect during harvest of that apple that you're not just going to get one apple out of one seed. You're going to get a lot more apples. I remember when I was in the islands and I planted papaya trees. You plant a papaya in the ground with one seed, and you plant it and the tree come up, and when it starts bearing fruit, it bears up to 80 fruits at a time. So it's time of limited resources, but it's also a time of expecting and anticipating what this will give us back in return. That's spring. Summertime is a time of protecting. You protect what is important to you. You protect your growth from being damaged by the wind, by bugs, by all of that. So there's a different posture towards the approaching summertime. And of course, when the summertime is over, you're now getting ready for the harvest time. And the harvest time is where you're looking forward to increase multiplication, because whatever you planted must be with the idea that it will produce more than just one seed or one plant. And so even with one plant of vegetables, we plant one seed of a cucumber in the ground, and when that seed grows into a cucumber plant, it will produce more than one. It produce many more. So that's what you can anticipate with the fall season. I'm talking in terms of the season as a farmer, because it's the closest thing to what we can understand naturally, how the earth naturally work and how we work with the changing of the seasons and the requirement in our clothing, the requirement in our mindset, the requirement of what is necessary, and how we go about fulfilling each requirement with the understanding that harvest is the ultimate destination. And then, of course, when the harvest comes, the harvest is a place where you don't have to apologize to anybody for what you are harvesting, because the harvest is given to you by what you did in the springtime, what you did in the summer, and now it's time to harvest. So life has a reward and a place where it instructs us on what to do and what to expect in return. Those are understanding of seasons in life. Now let me just talk to you a little bit about a different approach to seasons, because seasons does not have to be measured by 3 or 4 months at a time. Sometimes a season can last up to a year. Sometimes a season can last up to about 4 or 5 years, 2 or 3 or 4 years. And sometimes people will complain saying, man, when am I ever going to get over this kind of stuff? Well, here's the good news. Season change. And season has a way of turning itself to the next season. And if you submit and yield your mind, your heart, your body to this reality and this truth about season, you will always have more than enough. You will always have something to do that gives you back a sense of purpose and a sense of worth, that what you were given to work with is more than enough. And when you and I engage with our whole heart and with what we do, then something good is going to happen. I have an idea about this, especially with my journey with YouTube, because I'm now 2 months into YouTube. So I don't know whether I can describe it as a season, but it's a season of starting new things. Starting new things includes me learning new things. So when the winter season is over and I am moving into the spring side, I wonder if it's possible that learning how to edit, learning how to work with other social media platforms, interfacing them together, could be what springtime is, because you're now planting, and the planting has to recognizes the requirement of what is necessary to learn, so that you can put yourself and apply yourself to it, and it will yield back a skill set that you can increase and multiply and protect what you're planting during your spring season, which is next month. This month, spring season starts. So some of us may try to work as if we're in the wintertime when it's springtime. What are you doing? I'm just kind of doing nothing. What do you think? Where are you going to go? Nah, I'm just going to stay here. So it's understanding that there are requirements that will make us motivated internally. Sometimes we don't necessarily understand everything, but the truth inside is we're built with the capacity to know when the next season opens and when the current season we're involved with closes. and we're moving into a new season. And sometimes a new season could easily be a job, a profession that you have done very well in, but now you are required to learn something new, something that is not necessarily things that you're aware of, but you know if you put yourself into applying yourself to that new season of learning and planting, you know by the end of that season, you'll not only learn how to plant and how to do new things, but you will also be equipped to know how to protect what you started with. So it's important that we understand those are some of the values regarding season and identifying season, like for instance, with wintertime. Wintertime is when you're slowing down. And sometimes in the midst of all the things that we're doing, we feel like there is a inner pressure to put us in a place where we want to wait. It looks like it's a season of waiting on more data, waiting on when clarity comes. And that's part of a winter time. And then we move into springtime. We cannot help but be anxious to get involved. And knowing that that is a season that is coming from within us, that push us towards doing new things. And then of course in the summertime, when the spring season is well spent on learning, getting feedback, getting data, understanding data, and all of that, it puts you in a place of protecting what you're putting as a harvest to come. And of course, the harvest is when your skill set and your mind and your strategy and the technology that you're working with are all aligned. Something takes place underneath. And that thing taking place underneath is the beginning of a whole new season of harvest. So it's not only important that we understand it from the natural side, but we also understand it on a personal journey of life. I feel like for my life, the last 4 years have been seasons of being, what do you call it? I've had all kinds of stuff. I had a heart attack, and I have never had any major health issues until I turned 70. Never. No. I may have had some issues with gout here and there. I may have some issues where it's very short season. But these last 4 years, I can say I have not been through a winter like that. Now, it went into a place where my wife and I were joking. One time we said, next year, especially this year, 2026, we're going to look for a cave in the wilderness where we can go and hide ourselves in a cave so that when November comes around, we won't be found by illnesses or something. It's a joke, but we won't be found by illnesses because we're in the cave. However, that's an attitude that we had, recognizing that the last 4 seasons of our lives have been filled with health challenges, particularly me, my wife more so in the area of caregiving. I've never known that someone can love somebody else like me and put up with all of the little innuendos, if you know what I mean by you sit in a wheelchair and you want to go get a drink. In the past, I can just get up and go get a drink. Now I can't because you have to maneuver and manipulate the wheelchair to go. And when you get there, you can only use the wheelchair while you're there. And if you want to come back to where you are, you can't carry your cup of tea or cup of coffee like this. You have to put it there and ask my wife to bring it in. And she has been such an incredible gift for me. I have learned how to receive love, receive care in the last 4 years more than I've ever had in my life. And I also noticed that there was something changing in me because it's a season where you evaluate what needs to be put aside to be planted later, what needs to be utilized as food and things for substance. and then you make the distinction of those two things. And when the spring season comes, you're ready. Ready during spring season. And sometimes people are ready for spring season in the fall, and the earth is not ready to give you back the benefit of time. So you have to wait for the next season. There's a lot of interesting lessons in life, especially understanding seasons. And seasons allow us to mature. Seasons allow us to appreciate the quality and the value of life itself. Seasons give us the appreciation of what it is like to be alive. And by the way, I have a request for you. This month of March, I am targeting to have 300 subscribers to my YouTube channel. And my data that I collect, YouTube send me the data of people who watch my videos and how many of them watch the video and subscribe. And it's only 20% of those who watch my videos and then subscribe. The rest, which means 80% of the people who watch my videos, may enjoy it, may like it, and I appreciate that. But for the value of YouTube and what I am trying to accomplish, if you can help me with subscribing to my video, liking them, and even comment, tell me where you are seeing my videos from, and let's have a conversation. I've had many of you who responded and subscribed to my channel already, for which I am very grateful. So right now, I'm going to stay on this subject and bring it to my understanding of YouTube, because I think there is a value there that we can also take a look at and see how much of that can be valuable and motivational enough for some of you who have been thinking about doing this and haven't yet. I would like to help you along and take take you by the hand and show you step by step on what you can do, how you can start, and what you can anticipate, and so forth. By the way, this is Soseni Leao. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye for now.